Hello, it's Molly Mae from Ponder and Ply, and this is my second ever podcast. I'm hoping to do some more traditional stuff today. I'm going to talk to you about my whips. So this one I've titled What's in the Bin, because I keep all of my whips in a little bin next to my sofa. It would help if I press record. I was just talking for a few minutes and I didn't realise that I never press record. So basically, as you may be able to tell, I am really tired this week. I had a really busy but amazing weekend last weekend. So it was a bank holiday here in the UK, so we had a 3-day weekend. It was also the boy's birthday on Saturday, so I booked a surprise trip for us down to the coast. We took our bikes, we spent the weekend cycling, we swam in the sea, we ate loads of good food, we stayed in the countryside, I got to see loads of animals, and we stayed in an Airbnb keeping ducks, and they had cats and dogs, and there was cows nearby, and it was just really lovely. It was amazing, but it was 3 days of full-on out busy. And then I was in work all week after that. I cycled to work every day, I went to the gym every day, had a busy work schedule, and I came home and did lots of editing on some tutorials in the evening. So it's safe to say that this weekend I'm going to spend most of it sleeping and knitting. So yeah, you're gonna have to bear with me because I am sleepy. Right, so that's enough rambling. Last week I completely forgot to talk about what I was wearing. It was actually one of those vintage jumpers by Susan Crawford. So before I go anywhere else, I'm going to talk to you about what I'm wearing. So you can't quite see, but I have underneath got a Ripple Bralette by Jessie Mae. It's one of the few patterns I've made more than once. It's really comfortable. I find it really good to go underneath things. So I've just got like a really loose jersey vest over the top. It's actually quite low and I would flash quite a bit if I didn't have something underneath. So this is really comfortable. It's just for lounging. I was working from home today actually, so I cycled all week apart from today. So I've got some really comfortable leggings on because last week, or whenever I did the first podcast, I wanted everyone to see me at my best. So I dressed up, but realistically this is the kind of stuff I live in, especially when I'm working a lot. And then on my head I have got my first ever pattern release. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's definitely my style. So got all my little flowers on there. I'm so proud of this. It's something I always wanted to make for myself, and then I decided to release the pattern when I first started designing this year, and it's all cozy and I feel a bit rubbish today. So I have popped on this hat and I feel nice and cozy and ready to go. Anyway, enough rambling, I'm gonna jump into it. What's in my bin? Ooh. This is my bin. It's a standard IKEA bin that I bought for my study to keep next to my desk, but I never actually used it, so it's ended up being the equivalent of my knitting basket. It's piled high with whips, works in progress, for anyone that isn't sure. For ages I had no idea what that stood for, work in progress. This isn't all of my works in progress. I'm just going to talk about a few of them quickly. As I said on my last podcast, I'm an absolute knitting slut. I have loads of projects on the go at any one time. The ones in this bin tend to be worked on relatively regularly, rather than I've got a pile like down here that I haven't touched in a really long time. A lot of them are just things that need end sewing in. I'm really bad at sewing in ends. Anyway, first thing I want to talk about is my Marittemo. I've been dreading this because I'm really bad at pronouncing things. Okay, it's my Marittemo tee by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. So I'm going to try and hold that. I'm not sure how well you can see that. There you go. Well, you can see it okay, I guess. It's quite big. I went for a size medium. I generally go for a size medium in everything. Medium tends to be the perfect bust size for me. Sometimes I have to alter it, make it a bit tighter at the waist, but For this one I didn't. I actually decided to knit this one for a couple of reasons. So first of all, I have lots of short, cropped, tight fitted things, and my wardrobe was in desperate need of something just a little bit looser that can chuck on over a pair of leggings or jeans, and something a bit comfortable. And that looks really cute, and I've seen so many versions of this. I actually follow the hashtag on Instagram, and I thought it was about time I made one for myself. The second reason is, and again I mentioned this in my last video, I spent a lot of time designing and test knitting. I kind of lost the fun, relaxing side of knitting, and just like the therapeutic side, I guess. So for me, knitting was a really good space when I was feeling a bit anxious, a bit stressed, to sort of sit down, take my mind off of things, or think things through, but in a way where my fidgety fingers are occupied. And anyway, this has a lot of stockinette, and it's in the round, so you just keep on knitting. So it's a really good project to pick up and put down and not have to focus on anything. So nearly finished. So the only thing I've got left is the neckband. I've been putting it off because picking up stitches is long. But I'm so happy that I'm just going to talk to you quickly about the yarn. The yarn is from Beehive Yarns, who is a wonderful dyer. This is actually called Jilly Bean. I'm not sure how well you can see it. It's called Jilly Bean. The main body colour, I don't remember the names of the other ones, but when I do a finished objects video, I'll go through what the colours are properly. Actually, I spoke to her recently because she told me after my last video that she likes fries and milkshake too. I am not that weird. Fries and milkshake are so good. Just side note. But the yarn is delicious. It's so soft. I can't wait to wear it. It blocked really well when I did my swatch. The colours go so nicely together. So these greens actually, you can see little speckles of them in the main body. I absolutely love it. I definitely will be ordering from her again because her yarns are all delicious. Yeah, so that's whip number 1. Oh, this is one for my knitting confessions. So actually I've got these little bags from Love Knitting or Love Crafts, whatever they're called now, and I use them as project bags just to keep my knitting separate because I've got so many. This right here is my first ever sock. I spoke about this actually on my last video. I am really bad at making things in pairs. This has not got a pair. It actually hasn't quite got a toe yet. The pattern is the Everyday Hermione socks. I think the designer's name is Leuder, maybe? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's got a really nice simple texture pattern on it. It's top down. I don't know all the terminology for sock knitting, but it's really nice and really easy to follow. It's actually a great beginner's pattern. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube from other people as well. I guess maybe eventually I'll finish this, but for now let's just kind of sit in the corner. So the next one I want to talk about is not a pattern I found anywhere. I actually really wanted to make a chunky cardigan with cables on it, and I couldn't find a simple one that I wanted to make, so I've just kind of made this one up as I've gone along. If I can show you, there's the cables. This is the back of it. So it's got cables running down each side, and just garter stitch in the middle, and then if I flip that around, I've just gone over the shoulders and I'm now going down the front. So that's going to make the sort of like vest shape of the cardigan, and then I'm going to pick up the edges and add some ribbing on it, and then add the arms. I haven't decided if I'm going to add cables to the arms or not yet. I will decide when I get there, but that again has been sitting there for a little while. This video is actually a little bit misleading because I've spent most of my time doing test knits at the moment. I will give you a quick flash of the test knits I'm working on at the end of this video, but I'm actually going to do a separate video on my recently finished test knits and test knits that I'm currently working on, so I won't show you too much. I guess I'll show you one more from my bin. So this one is another pattern that lots of people have made by Caitlin Hunter. It is the, actually I can't even say it, Zweig? How do you say it? Can someone tell me how to say it? I've never known how to say this. I always say it a different way in my head. But, oh, it's really bright. I'm not sure that you can see that well. Okay, well this one is yarn that I got from Woolly Mama Yarns. So this right here, okay, I'm really sorry but my camera makes loads of noises when I'm getting it to focus, but I'm going to show it really close, try and get it to focus. There we go. It's a really delicious yarn. I had this idea to do like a strawberries and cream version, and I want like the yoke detail to be in cream and then the rest of it to be in that pinky colour. But I actually think the name of this yarn is Peaching Glorious, something like that. So maybe it's peaches and cream. Again, this is one I started ages ago but I haven't touched in a while because the yoke's quite complicated and you need to really focus on it, and I haven't really been in the mood to work my way through that, but I will do eventually. I'm just going to pop my bin back down. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you was the test knits I'm currently working on, because actually that's what I'm spending most of my time working on at the moment. So I've got 2 test knits that I'm finishing now. I think I took on 5 over the last month, so there will be or last couple of months, there will be a separate video on that. So I did just film this and I've had to refilm it because my camera's so loud when it focuses. So hopefully I can try and show you these in the same sort of level as me to avoid all the creaky changing. Anyway, so first of all I've got my framework bralette by Jessie Mae. I hold this up next to me. That seems to be working. Okay, so this is actually quite magical. You knit most of it inside out, and then when you reach the top, which I'm nearly at where you do the sort of knit each section separately for the cups, you turn it back the right way round and a magical mock seam appears. So if you give me a second, I'll just turn this inside out. So again, slide this up. Okay, I think that's right. So here on my fluffy beard you can see I've got a mock seam. I am knitting this up in mohair, fluffy goodness. Well, not just mohair, so it's a DK from Paintbox Yarns that I sort of just had kicking about, and I've added 2 strands of mohair, which is thicker than the pattern calls for, because it calls for DK, but I went down 2 needle sizes and I got gauge, so yes, I've put double the mohair to make it really fluffy and yummy. I'm actually eating mohair. I was knitting this earlier and I'm wearing a black vest and I'm covered in pink fluff. I mean, there are worse things to be covered in, but yeah, eating it's not great. Okay, and then the other one that I am currently working on that I should have finished by now are these Brighton shorts. So it's part of a set designed by Julie at work. Sorry Julie, it's designed by Julie. I will link her name below. She's a very talented designer and she's made this set called the Brighton set that's a vest and shorts combo. It's knitted up in cotton with a tiny bit of cashmere. So these are my first ever pair of shorts, as you can see, in a really nice green colour. What's really magical about these shorts is that they kind of grow from your needle. So you make the waistband first and you double it over and thread through the I-cord as you go. So then it looks like the shorts are sort of growing out of your needles. It has a really cute eyelet detail on the side, and when I get there you'll see it has a really cute pattern along the bottom of the shorts. They actually look a little bit small, but I'm hoping because they're all bunched up on the needles it looks small, but as we go through should be able to fit my butt in, we'll find out. So those ones I'm really excited about. I'm hoping to get them done, at least get a substantial amount of them done this weekend, because I'm actually a little bit over the deadline and I feel terrible about it. When designers rely on you, I shouldn't have taken on as many test knits as I have. If you do test knit, or if you're starting to test knit, it's one thing it's really hard to do. Once you start, you just want to do everything and help everyone and do all of them, but you have to be fair on the designer and sometimes say no. So I guess last things to be said is let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you want to see anything, want me to do anything differently. I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for listening to me babble on for the last however long. I'm hoping to edit this so it's not too long. Thank you so much for listening.